Hello, and welcome to another D-Money video. It is your boy D-Money, and I'm back. I wanted to talk to you guys about a very pressing issue, or a very pressing topic in the Hearthstone community right now, which is Auto-Squelch. Should we do it? Should we implement it? Does the game need it? What are its benefits? What are its downsides? We're going to get into all that right now. And let me just preface this by saying that everything that you hear in this video is my opinion, and that everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion. If you disagree with me, that's okay. That's all right. That's the great part about life. That's the beautiful part about life, is that you can have your own opinion. It's crazy, I know, right? It doesn't seem like it nowadays, but you're able to, yes. So I completely understand if you disagree, but this is just how I feel, and let's get into it. First things first is, why do we have emotes in the first place? So there's currently only the one way to communicate with your opponent, which is through emotes, unless you have the opponent added on your friends list, of course, during that game. But yes, this is the only way to communicate. It's the only social aspect during the game to communicate with your opponent. And I think it's led to so many positive, it's led to a lot of negatives as well. A lot of negative experiences, but there's been a lot of positive experiences that we're going to get into right now. Something very unique happens that's very unlikely, and you've like never seen it before, or just like something funny happens in the game, and you and your opponent both emote, and it feels like you're making a genuine connection between another player and yourself. I don't know how to really describe it too much, but there's been a lot of these instances that have happened over the years of playing this game. And it just makes you feel, it's just like all in good fun sometimes with the emotes, okay? There's definitely ways to do positive emoting, to emote in a way that is just like fun for both players, and it's just like good fun. But there's also ways to do it in a toxic manner, and I think that's what is driving people to Squelch so much and want the Auto-Squelch feature. So an example of a toxic emote would be if your opponent gets extremely lucky and then they emote like oops or well played or like greetings or something like that. And like you're obviously, they know that that you're tilted. They know that you're very annoyed at what just happened, and they still emote you anyway just to tilt you over the edge, pretty much. And that is very annoying, and I will squelch those people. I don't really squelch too many people, but if you're going to be toxic, then I will squelch you, and we'll move on with our life. Emoting is just a feature. It's just supposed to be in the game. To me, it's like saying, it's like trying to argue that you should be able to ban a class on ladder. I just don't think it makes sense to me personally, okay? If you think that it makes sense, hey, that's your opinion. But me, I think that it's just a part of the game. It's an integral part of the game. And auto-squelching, I don't know, just then it makes it seem like my emotes don't even matter at all. And like, I don't use my emotes in a toxic manner. I just use them like for like friendly banter kind of things. So, like you can honestly see when somebody squelches you if they hover over your portrait after you. So let's say, for instance, I'm trying to do like a friendly, funny kind of emote, and then I see my opponent, instead of emoting themselves, they just hover over my portrait for a couple seconds. They're probably squelching me. And I understand. It's all right. They're just too tilted. They don't see the fun in what's going on. That's all right. But I like being able to actually see that they're squelching me, because then I know, okay, well, I guess the rest of my emotes are going to be unnecessary, and I'm just going to be wasting my time emoting to myself. So I at least like knowing that my opponent has to do it. Even if they do it at the beginning of the game, I can see them hovering over my face, hovering over my portrait. And if the auto-squelch was a thing, then they would never have to do that. And a lot of people would be using it, probably, or a decent amount of people. I don't know. To me, it would just like take away from the overall experience of playing the game, and just like a social aspect of the game in general. Now, I want to move on to something else, which is a very big reason as to why emotes should stay in the game. First of all, let me just say that emotes are in every single game, essentially, like pretty much every single game, especially card games, because there really it's very hard to get a social aspect going during the game without having like a chat with one another, like having an actual chat box. But that would never happen, of course, because that would be way too toxic. But yeah, another big part about why emoting is in the game and why it should stay in the game without Auto-Squelch as a feature is because emoting can lead to bluffing your opponent out, or just like trying to mess up your opponent. So sure, you could say, well, I never want my opponent to emote me during my turn because then I have to squelch them during my turn, and then it's gonna throw off my whole turn and everything like that. I mean, sure, but if you're really a high caliber player, you should be able to get through it without even. You should be able to get through a turn while your opponent's emoting without it really distracting you. Although sometimes I think they could fix the emote a little bit, the emote system a little bit, because sometimes emotes do actually cover um, some of the minions or like parts of the minions, so it could get a little confusing. But still, I'm under the thing that, you know, if you're a high level player, you know, if your opponent's emoting you, sure, you could go squelch them really fast, then do your turn, or just let it don't even bother you, and then squelch them after the turn. But emoting in general could just like bluff your opponent. Like, let's say for instance, I play Madame Lazul, which takes a card from I get to discover a card from my opponent's hand, add it to my hand, and I get a really, let's say I get a really bad one, but I emote and I try to make it seem like I got a really good one. There's just like these certain things that in Hearthstone, there's these small instances where you can bluff your opponents out, whether it's with emotes or whether it's hovering over certain cards. You know, hovering over a card that you know you're not going to play, but doing it to bluff out your opponent to make them think that you could play it or want to play it. Um, Also, when I like to do a little fun thing, when my opponent is like choosing a minion to attack and you can see them hovering over different minions or maybe my face, then I usually hover over the one that I don't want them to pick, as kind of like a reverse psychology, because then I want them to actually pick it. You know, so there, that kind of stays true with emoting. It's a very rare case with emoting in specific, but I don't know. I think emoting is just part of the game for multiple reasons, and I feel that adding Auto-Squelch to the game would decrease the amount of fun that I experience in Hearthstone. I think that it does take away from some of the fun. Of course, not all the fun. Of course, not most of the fun. But I don't know. It just seems like it would make my experience a little worse, and I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. But I know there are people that do want the Auto-Squelch feature, and I would like to hear what you have to say. I may not agree with you, but I'm definitely open to understanding everybody's point of view. I can see different people's point of view. I have the empathy to look at it from different perspectives, and I understand why you could want it. I just think it's an integral part of the game, and I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to explain it in a way that people that don't agree with me can understand it, but sometimes we just are caught in our ways. You know, I'm stuck in my ways of looking at it from this point of view, but some people just have had such bad experiences with emotes that they like never want to see an emote ever again. But I think it's just a part of the game, and I hope you can see my point, my side. So if you do like the video, or if you like this kind of content, I would appreciate a like below, or if you want to subscribe to my channel. I try to post a lot of videos with either deck guides, highlights from my stream, or also just like hot pressing issues, or things that just my opinions on things. So it would mean a lot to me, and I'd always love to hear what you have to say down below. And I thank you for watching. I really do. Well played. Greetings. You possess true power, and my magic will tear you apart. See you in the next one. Peace.